Kenny Hope, my man, how you doing?
Hanging in, man. It's Friday. 21 days of March done. We good, baby. We here.
My man Terrence on the upper right of the screen. My man, how you doing?
I'm flabbergasted right now because I didn't freeze. I don't know what's going on, but you know what? I'm
Right.
gonna say that that's because of my tribal chief,
Oh
and
boy,
that's
here we
I'm,
go.
I'm gonna attribute that to him. Give Roman the respect he deserves.
And on the bottom left, first time as a guest, the host of Unlikely with Adrian Hernandez, Mr. Adrian Hernandez. My man, how you doing?
Yo, what up? What's popping? Shout out. We here on the West Coast holding it down in Vegas, just waiting for y'all to get here in about 30 days. We holding it down though. But greetings. Thank you guys for having me.
That's a
Appreciate y'all.
fact, man. I don't know about Terrence and Kenny. I know I am 95% locked into to going out there and doing some stuff for WrestleMania week. Not sure about the actual WrestleMania, but I probably will be there from like a Tuesday or Wednesday, maybe till Monday, depending if I get looked out for some tickets for Mania. Looking forward to it. So you're not born and raised in Vegas, right? You were born in
No, sir.
Cleveland.
Born and raised in Cleveland, Ohio.
Ah,
Born and raised Cleveland, Ohio. Was there until graduated high school. Went to school in Tampa, Florida. Always had a career in radio. That's been my dream, my aspiration. So radio's taken me to
nice.
Phoenix, Arizona. Now it's been in Vegas, where I've been for 5 years. But make no
Mhm.
mistake, Vegas is home now. For sure, for a very long time, especially if WWE builds that new NXT West Coast. I'm in there. I ain't going nowhere. So
That's
Vegas
right.
is home, but I'm born and raised in Cleveland. Which, by the way, I know y'all New York. I don't know if we can swear, so I'm gonna just say F the Yankees and F the Knicks. I
Oh
just
my
want to
God.
be
Oh, hey,
transparent.
hey, hey,
I just
hey,
want to
Wow.
be
hey, hey,
transparent with
hey,
y'all.
hey,
I don't want
hey.
to start the show with dishonesty. We need to start it
Hey,
from an honest
yo,
place.
I mean, we could have spoke about that off air, bro. Damn.
That's
He's like,
wild.
this is the shortest podcast appearance from a guest
Oh,
and the first one.
okay.
Thank you.
Not his mic,
man.
Randy.
Maybe Adrian feels a certain way because the Knicks beat the Cavaliers in the playoffs 2 years ago. I feel you. I feel. Listen, I'm not a Yankee fan. Baseball I can watch here and there. Knicks is my team. Terrence is from New York, but he lives in Portland, Oregon now. Kenny's born and raised in New York, so we got a lot of New York vibes in here. So cámate,
I got
cámate.
beef with the New York Liberty too. I cover the Aces
Nah,
in the
we,
WNBA,
Well,
so they
whoa,
got
whoa.
beef too. So
okay.
we going
Listen,
all over the place. You know what
Y'all
I'm
beat
saying?
us, we beat y'all, so we good
I
now.
can't
We
stand Sabrina Ionescu. She overrated. Anyway, let's get back to the
wow.
wrestling. My fault.
right.
Cleveland
I
had
don't.
a
Where
WBA.
did you find? I was just about to ask if you went to high school with the Pauls, because I'm assuming you know how to be a heel. And now we know that you 100% know how to be a heel. You just
All
walk
right.
in.
Word.
I wish I did
Our
go to high school
environment.
with them. Those people had very, their bank accounts were very hefty. You know what I'm saying? But he was in the
Mhm.
other part of town. I'll leave it at that.
Wow.
Listen, Yankees,
Energy.
Knicks, Liberty. We apologize for Adrian's comments. We do not reflect the same way he feels. Sabrina, we love you. Respect to you. All right, so we are doing this live on Twitter and YouTube. So if you are watching us, following SmackDown. I know SmackDown was taped earlier in the day, but in America, it was shown and finished about 15 minutes ago. Any questions, comments, feedback regarding SmackDown, Raw, WrestleMania, whatever, hit us up in the chat and we'll get right back to you. Let's start here. Terrence, I go to you first. Roman, Punk, Seth, they closed out SmackDown in Italy. All signs point towards to a triple threat match at WrestleMania. I think we all here can agree that that should be the main event of night one of WrestleMania 41 in Vegas. First time they were all in the ring together. Your thoughts, Terrence, on Punk, Seth, and Roman, and how it all played out a few minutes ago.
Well, remember I'm in Portland, so I didn't see it yet.
Oh, God.
But I did see the clips online.
Okay.
And don't worry about the spoilers. You know what I mean?
Sorry.
It's,
Okay, man.
for me, it's not a spoiler.
That's right.
As our wise man would say. No, but I mean, it's nothing that we didn't see coming, right? And I think like sometimes, I 90% of the time, I'm one of the fans who just enjoys being a fan and letting Triple H and Shawn Michaels and all the other legends who are behind the scenes guide us and take us in a space that we haven't been. But there's that 10% of time where I'm like, yo, just give us what we want. You know what I mean? Like, and they're giving us what we want. So I'm excited to see what happens. It feels like you know, we did get a little bit of a taste, obviously, of Seth Rollins and CM Punk, where we got their match on Raw, and it was good, but it wasn't like as it didn't feel like they fully like all the smoke was fully relinquished, so to speak.
Right.
So I love that we're throwing Roman in there because I it just feels like all of their stories really do intertwine. And I do have a question for you guys because you guys saw it. What was or
All right.
was
So whatever the question is, I'll let Adrian answer it first.
what was the so I saw that there was like a little something about like the way it kicked off where CM Punk basically is teasing that he's gonna cash in on that favor. So can you guys give me a little bit of insight on it?
Yeah, so Roman came out first, and then Seth, and they kind of had a little interaction, and then Punk interrupted them. So as soon as Punk's getting into the ring, he's he kind of responds to some of the comments about Roman Reigns, being like, "Yo, I didn't screw you. If you forget, this is a Royal Rumble, every man for himself." And then he brings up to Paul. He's like, "And by the way, I haven't even really cashed in my favor," which is interesting. Because I think a lot of people assume that favor just meant like a title shot or get me in the main event or something like that. Whereas him saying it the way that he did with Paul and Roman being in the ring at the same time was kind of like, well, maybe the favor is that Paul screws Roman and flips over. And so that was, and it was just a slight interaction. I'll let Kenny give his feedback before I go into some of my thoughts about that. But to answer your question, that's kind of how it was presented.
Okay. Kenny, go ahead.
Well, for one, they all, like as was said before, they all came to the ring. I think all three of them came out. They represented their own like energy. Like Roman came out automatically. Ones went up. You could just hear the or like the chorus. You know, it was just solidifying him as his chief, as like the king in this. And then Seth came out as, the fiery instigator, the hothead, just wanting to, stamp himself in. They all bring out, everyone was singing like in chorus. And then here comes the rebel, CM Punk comes out. Everyone's singing cult personality. It just shows like all three of them in the ring, and they all were selling, their distinguished, their faces. Like it was telling already, like the amount of hate and discourage they have towards each other, and that just spilled out in the ring. Like not one person they were helping. Everyone was getting a piece of hands or feet, like one
That's
at
right.
a time, and showed all of them pointing at the sign. All of them has their own attitude, their own era, their own way. So this is really going to build off with their own energy. It's like the three Pokemon birds. We got Moltres, Articuno, and Zapdos. They all going to fight against each other, and they all willing to give any type of electricity, fire, or ice they really to give at each other. So
Exactly.
this is really the energy that's given.
Also in there, so when Seth got out there, he was talking to Roman about how I'm paraphrasing, like, we got our own story going on. This shit ain't ever gonna end. I think this story needs one more chapter. We can't coexist in the same universe together. Without you, there's no me. Without you, there's no me. Without me, there's no you. We came in the same time, which is correct, and now it's kind of build off of that. And then Punk comes out, does a spiel saying that, I saved you guys at War Games, your whole family. None of you have beaten me without outside help. And then, which, hey, Paul, that favor, then the way Paul looks at him is like, hey, like not right now, bro. Like maybe they know what the favor is, but they don't want to disclose that.
And that's what he actually said. He said he's like, you right now?
Yeah, like so it's like, hey, like, bro, chill. And then Roman looks to Paul like, oh, what the fuck going on? And then Punk hits Roman from the back, and they brawl. It is a lot of layers. Number one, I think this would be the main event of night one. I think that's what we've been seeing and aiming for the last couple of weeks. And they can go two ways: built on the Punk and Roman story, or the Roman and Seth story. What I am seeing is that a lot of people are really just saying, "Oh, if you could say who's gonna win, most are saying Punk or Roman. If I had to pick today, I think. Remember, I see shit different. I don't know if Adrian would agree, but there could be a sign that Seth might walk out winning this shit, right? So he goes over to his own thing, and then you build on the Punk and Roman because that's what's coming down the pipeline. Whatever that favor is, if it's cashing at Mania or down the line, that's what you got to focus on because Seth and Roman can get this shit off later on. But I think that they want to hammer down Roman and Punk. And I think if you ask me today on March 21st, I wouldn't be surprised if Seth Rollins walked out winner at WrestleMania.
And also earlier in the episode, there was a confrontation, not a confrontation, there was a conversation between Seth and Drew McIntyre, which was a little interesting and could be foreshadowing. But to your point, I mean, honestly, like it might be, it's like the treat to Seth. Like, yo, man, you've been doing all this stuff. You kind of carried us last year doing both nights and what you did and how integral of a part you were. And you kind of look at his history. I mean, granted, CM Punk obviously hasn't had his moment, his main event either. But it could be a perfect way to kind of give Seth the win and make it like just make it worthwhile because there's so many branches to this. This isn't a one-off as soon as WrestleMania is done. Like, no, this can continue forever. I will say though, I was a little disappointed with the whole segment. Like, to be honest, in my perfect world, I really wanted to see Roman and Punk have that mic moment one-on-one. I know that they had the Fast and the Furious cutscene leading into Survivor Series where they agreed to like help each other and stuff, but like on an actual microphone in person, like that hasn't happened yet. And I know that we still have 4 more SmackDowns to go. I know that we have a long way to go. The fight that they had, it was a little gritty, but like, I don't know, man. It just didn't seem, I felt like it was at like 60% other than 100%. And then they all have to point at the WrestleMania sign. I was like, that's a little tacky. But it did, I will say that it did feel like it was very physical and it felt very gritty. I just wanted it to be a little bit more wild. Like the instant, like Punk and Rollins, the little brawls that they've had where they're running towards each other, like that felt intense. And like I said, it felt gritty, but it just felt like it wasn't what we were all so hyped for. But again, we have 4 more SmackDowns to go, so there's a lot of story to tell. So it doesn't mean that we're not going to get that. I felt like I wanted more at the end of that.
Facts. People have been saying this triple threat is meaningless, but I'm sorry, how can you not be invested in something of this magnitude? Listen, I'm in. You know, listen, 3, they're all good to great on the microphone. You know what they could do in the ring. They're all main eventers, and I just don't see a match that includes the current version of Roman Reigns not being in the main event. Nor Seth Rollins. Listen, everybody wins. Punk gets the main event. What he's always wanted. A main event match is triple threat. It's non-title. And then Seth is a back-to-back main event night 1 guy. And then Roman's been, this is like his 8th or 9th main event of WrestleMania. So, you know, everybody wins. I'm just saying, I think, you know, the mirrors are showing me, hey, Seth might, like to Adrian's point, for acknowledging and thanking Seth that he was hurt. He was hurt last year, MCL, whatever it was. He was banged up. Like, yo, you know what? I got you this time. I gave you this win. And we're going to do a different program for you while we work on Roman and Punk, which can lead to something even crazy, I think, even at SummerSlam.
And also the times that Roman obviously is not there every week. So when Seth was the world heavyweight champion and how he was carrying. I will throw this out there, though. Last week, Seth did an interview because he's hosting Good Morning Football on NFL Network. Yeah. And then CM Punk did an interview with I don't know who. But both of the questions that were asked to both of them was how important is it to main event a WrestleMania, to be the main event specifically this year. And they both kind of like, how do I say
shrug
this?
It off. Like, yeah,
they kind of shrugged it off. They leading to that. This might not be the main event. Some people are saying it might be the second to last match on night 2. I don't know. There's something about Io, Bianca, and Rhea. Like, I know this is a different thing, but I was like, yo, that can also main event. But I
Good.
just thought it was interesting that they both answered and kind of were like, it doesn't matter that much.
Yeah, but I think for me that'll be tough to not put Punk, Seth, and Roman
Of course.
in the main
No,
event
of
unless
course.
that story with Io, Bianca, and Rhea really kicks up and something happens in that match. Like, oh shit! Like, wow! Now I know why you put that in the main event, but that's just me. Kenny, Terrence.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say, I feel like for the past couple of weeks, even though now it's more solidified, when they've been alluding to the fact that we were gonna get this match, we've been trying to figure out where to place it, right? And it was like, well, how do you end night one, right? Not giving Jey Uso his moment and yeeting into the credits, so to speak. But it also was like, but how do you not have Roman, Seth, and CM Punk? Especially there was something you said, I think last week, Randy, where you were like, something from that match is gonna bleed into night two. And I think you kind of swayed me in that, where I'm like, you might be right. You know what I mean? Like I think that there's something from that somehow is gonna maybe, I don't know if it interferes with Cody, and John, but it just feels like it's too big, like it's gonna spill over. Like we're talking about three titans colliding, and it just feels like it's too big of a thing.
Kenny?
I think for one, as Adrian said, the Seth Rollins and Drew McIntyre, I think that foreshadowing is coming. I think they're gonna either possibly put whatever beef they had aside, and maybe Drew McIntyre might do something to help Seth Rollins win that match in night one. And then that's going to possibly, as Terrence said, lead to night two, where it's going to probably help and assist, and we're going to see possibly The Rock might hire some new hires, and that might come into play. And next thing you know, we just have something new because it's all against some form of connection with the bloodline. Cody, even though he has his own thing with Cena, but in the past, what is it? He has beef now with Seth. He has little disagreement with Seth and Drew because he's involved with Roman's business, Jay and everything else. So that can build off something to go into night two. But Roman, Seth, and Punk, that's something you have in night one. That's really good. I would like that women's match to be like next second before that main event, but as I said, if it can really build off something, I would love it. But right now, that's where it's going. And night one's going to kick off and roll over to night two, like rollover minutes in the 2000s.
So a few things, Adrian. So Terrence, I think the last couple shows, again, he mentioned Jey Uso. So and this is the part where we kind of go all over the place. He mentioned Jey Uso. At first, weeks ago, I'm all right. Jey Uso has to main event. He's main event Jey Uso World Heavyweight Championship. You want to end off the night, everybody happy, eating. All right, then we go off camera. But as time evolves, it's the women's triple threat. It's the other triple threat. There's a lot of shit going on. I'm like, hey, and the Jey Uso Gunther story is like, right now. So Chairman suggested, I think Ric Flair said, hey, if I don't go on last, put me on first. So do you think that's the proper spot for the Jey Uso Gunther World Heavyweight Championship match, or do you feel like it should be, regardless of night one or night two, where would you put that match between Jey and Gunther?
I can't tell you where I'd put it. I can tell you where I think it's gonna go.
Okay.
I think it's gonna go first. I think it's gonna open up night one. I think it's obviously it gets the crowd's gonna be excited anyway, right?
Yeah.
But it's gonna get the crowd into it. Everyone's gonna be engaged, and then that's gonna give you the first viral moment to kick off, to put all throughout social media with the visuals. This is a spectacle. Look at how massive this is. To see this entire stadium go crazy over such an emotional moment when Jey ends up winning. It could be put at like, if they do it at night, I'm picturing everyone having the blue LEDs like the Taylor Swift or Beyonce concert at these stadiums. So at the end of the night, when it's actually dark outside, because the West Coast start time with the light and the sun and everything, like to
True.
have it be dark in the blue, like that would look insane too. But regardless, it is going to look insane. And I just think to give the crowd something to pop, and to kind of, it's been the status quo. Obviously, last year's Seth and Drew opened up. Was it night 1 or night 2?
Night 2.
First match.
Night 2.
It was the first match of night 2. So I think they'll keep that going. I think it's a good placeholder. And one of the reasons why I am saying that too is, to your point, the build has been like not the greatest. I have no interest in seeing what's the academy called with Otis and Tozawa. Like I have no interest in seeing them be involved, or Grayson Waller in theory. Like I don't care about these little parts that they're putting in to like waste time to get us closer to what's going to happen with Gunther and Jay. Like I'm not with it, and I'm not talking about Jay's bot. Like I could care less about the botch. I'm just like, I have no interest in seeing him wrestle Grayson 1 week and then wrestle Theory 1 week. That's not what I want. So to that point with the hype and everything, I think that's why it's going to open up the show night 1.
Why do you think, as a fan, what is it about the Uso Gunther story that what are we not getting? Why has it been kind of like lackluster compared to other storylines going on?
I think that this has been going on for a long time. Obviously, this is going to be their third matchup, and the story has been the same throughout this, which is Jay ain't going to do it. Jay's never done it. You know what I mean? So Jay keeps repeating that, hey, I'm going to crash out. No one believes in me. Like there's not different ebbs and flows into this story where Jay was a bad guy coming in, but now he's a good guy, or revenge. Like it's maintained the underdog story throughout. And it's kind of like Gunther just keeps on like trying to little bro him. I'm not getting different dynamics. There's not that different. I was talking about the branches with the triple threat with Punk and Roman and Seth. There's not these different angles that you can go with, or history and things like that. So because of that, I'm not fully engaged in it. I will give them credit. I know Gunther was on SmackDown and he talked to Jimmy, and like little things like that are interesting. But it's a difficult thing. Even if you didn't have the matches before Royal Rumble to Mania, that's a long ass time. But you have the Saturday night main event. You have the Intercontinental match from leading into WrestleMania last year. Like this is a long ass story, but it's still kept the same note.
Yeah. Terrence, Kenny?
Hey, Adrian, do you think that like that missing piece is that both Jay and Gunther, like they're missing like sort of like a faction behind them, like maybe a tag team that will help like build it up week by week? Like if they face off against one another, that will help build it up more.
Like if Ludwig was around and Jimmy was around, and then they could do that. I mean, possibly. I don't know, because I'm looking back and I'm like, they've had the promos, they've had the brawls. The brawls have been fire. But like I done seen Gunther come out and interrupt Jay in a match and put him to sleep with the sleeper hold like 5 times.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? Like if I was playing 2K and that kept happening in my story mode, I'd be like, bro, like come give me something else. Give me a different ending. So but again, they've done the brawl. They've done like I don't know what they need to do to spice it up. And to their credit, like who knows? I know there's a lot of conversation about the build and it not being that enticing outside of Cena and Cody and Rock and all that stuff. But we kind of had that last year, and they flipped it on a dime, and we still have 4 more Raws, 4 more SmackDowns to go. But I need a little bit more out of it.
Right. Let me get to this. So I know Terrence, you haven't caught up on SmackDown. So Kenny, I'll go to you for this one. How do y'all feel about Jade Cargill, the singles wrestler? So she fought Liv earlier on SmackDown. She took an L. I think it's the first time taking an L as a singles wrestler.
Yep.
With the outside interference from Naomi, which is now official for WrestleMania. Kenny, talk to me about not so much about like, what did you make of Jade coming back in the ring, first time singles in a while? And do you think it was the right call to have her lose, but due to outside interference, and also take the L to, my goat, Liv Morgan?
I thought it was, exciting to see Jade back. Still, like she seems like she's, little nervous to get back in, but it worked pretty well for her. I like she worked with Liv. Liv has been having a hell of a year, so
Yeah.
that can really help her really show and help her also to work with different caliber wrestlers at her size, because
Mhm.
Liv at her size is performing tremendously at that. You can't expect Jade to always face off against, powerhouse wrestlers. You got to be able to be versatile and try to do different things, not just, promo work, but how you work in ring, not just the power moves. But you see that she has some training. She was, wrestling Liv for about maybe like 10, 15 minutes. So
Mhm.
that, Naomi came out, took her out, but, Liv won, on the Oblivion.
Mhm.
So I think that was a good move, Liv, giving Jade her first loss, singles loss, before she
Yeah.
was tag team worthy. So, and then we saw, Naomi came, ground and pound, mocking her move, knocking Jade right off the
Yeah.
table. So what do y'all think? Do you guys all think that, do you see that Jade possibly going against a dream opponent, and who would that be?
Adrian, that's for you.
Dream opponent or just facing Naomi at WrestleMania?
Besides Naomi, like afterwards, like
Dream, it's Bianca and Charlotte. Straight
Bianca,
up, you
Charlotte?
put
Yeah.
them on the billboard. You talk about montages where they show these face offs. Like
Mhm.
it's Wonder Woman versus Wonder Woman, Wonder Woman versus Wonder Woman, whether it's Bianca or Charlotte. As a matter of fact, my whole theory throughout all of this
Mhm.
was that I wanted it to be Charlotte was the one that attacked
Oh,
Jade in the form of like, yo, I was jealous because of all the hype that she was getting because she came in while Charlotte was injured. Because I
Yeah.
was like, yo, this whole story dynamic of Bianca and Naomi, when you have SummerSlam at MetLife for 2 days and y'all trying to do all these 2-day PLEs and y'all going to stadiums across the world, you got to sell tickets so we can get to Bianca, we can get to Naomi later. I wanted to be Charlotte because that visual, like these billboards all around the strip, you put Bianca, you put Charlotte, both 6'5", both like they're damn replicas of each other. Like
Yeah.
so those two, and the same thing for Bianca, and Charlotte, obviously being a veteran. I was like, okay, so she's gonna know what to do. One of the reasons why I'm excited now, seeing what they just did, Liv and Jade did. That match was
Mhm.
fantastic. That might be the best match of Jade's career, AEW or WWE. And
Mhm.
Naomi's a veteran; she knows this. So like I'm very excited to see them go now. But yeah, no, Bianca and Charlotte for sure. Those are the dream matches for me, bar none.
Terrence. Oh, my bad. Kenny? No, Terrence. Which one? Which one?
no, Terrence.
T, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with Jade is, and I think we all know this, she's an incredible worker. Like I've compared her a lot to Lex Luger.
Mm.
I
Hall of
feel like,
Famer. Hall of Famer.
soon to be, right? Much respect.
Yeah.
Love Lex. But I say that to say, like, she's very much like, it's her physique, right? She's physical. She's strong. She's
Mhm.
even stronger than she does look, right? Like she
Yeah,
beat
of
up
course.
Nia and did not struggle when she threw her over the out of the ring in the Royal Rumble in her debut.
Mhm.
My one critique, if you will, of Jade is just on the mic. If she gets that down, because I feel like that's the part that Bianca and even Naomi a little bit, like they had to kind of like compensate for her, and that was the way to ease her in. Like obviously having the three of them was great as like the big three. It was great, but I
Yeah.
think part of it too was to like allow her to like develop her on the mic skills, because I just feel like if she was able to really cut a promo now, when she's whooping ass, she could talk shit.
Exactly.
She got that Roman in ring effect. I love hearing her talk crazy as she's beating people up. But she got to be able to get really cut a promo in ring before a match. You know what I mean? And that's going to take it to the next level. Now, to answer the question, I think the match that we all want to see one day is her versus Bianca, right? Like, it just feels like it has to happen. You have two incredible athletes. You kind of get that same vibe that you got with Bianca versus, Sasha. You know what I mean? Like, basically carrying the WWE into a new space. And, let's talk about it and be honest, like, righting a lot of the wrongs that may have happened in the 80s or 90s, right? So, I love to see the three of them, we're including Naomi, but that would be my favorite, or not favorite, but that would be my dream match, seeing her and Bianca really go off.
So now it is official. Jade and Naomi will be one-on-one at WrestleMania. So Adrian, how excited are you? Again, we have a lot of stories going on. It's a slow build. Even like Cena, Cody is slow because the first time they go in the ring last week. Jade, Naomi, also official is KO and Randy Orton. Slow. Like everything is slow right now. We got 4 more weeks, but how are you entertained by seeing Jade and Naomi one-on-one at Mania?
Oh, 100%. Yo, to be honest, outside of Cody and Cena, and fresh off of that, because obviously what happened on Monday, like, yo, these stories, like the women are like carrying the stories and carrying like that to me, because I was a little disappointed in the closing of the show with Punk Roman. This was so dope to see. Like I said, best match. Jade and Liv put on a banger. Jade comes out looking like Halle Berry. Naomi comes out first time as a heel with her outfit looking spectacular, and like Kenny said, like mocking her and doing all this stuff. Like, I love to see people get an opportunity to do great things. And like we all know Naomi's history of leaving the company, going to TNA, proving herself, working, wrestling, being the leader, being the most popular person on TNA while she was there, and coming back and now getting the opportunity to not only explore a new thing that she hasn't done. She's been wrestling for what? At least 10 years? What? 15 years? 10 years?
More than that, yeah.
Yeah, she finally has an opportunity not only to explore a character and be a heel. Like, it's the first time she's getting to be a heel. It's the first time, like, she's getting to be a part of a story, like an actual story with time and a promo package. And like 15, when you wait that long for an opportunity to take advantage of it, and like, I'm excited to see what happens. I know that she can go in the ring. The moment with her and Bianca and that promo, like, it was fantastic. So I want to see how this evolves. And now it seems like Naomi with the tweets with Drew McIntyre and all this stuff. Like, Jade and Naomi on Twitter, by the way, going back and forth with the pictures of Rikishi and everything. Like, I want to see them really get into it and like get the time. And because SmackDown is 3 hours, this is the first time. Like, I look back at WrestleMania 39 and Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair. I know, because I've asked them, they were upset because obviously so much attention was put on Cody and Roman, and it was a 2-hour show. A 2-hour show is already 90 minutes. Roman Reigns' entrance is 15. Like, there wasn't a lot of time to be able to tell these stories. But now when it's 3 hours, like that Liv and Jade was a 2-segment, 15-minute match. So I'm excited to see how they tell this story, and just to get the opportunity to tell an actual story that ain't got to do with the belt. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't have to do like this is like an actual story. So obviously, clearly, I'm very hyped about this.
Do you think this is a one-off between Jade and Naomi, or do you think they're gonna run it back? We do have Backlash coming up in May. So
May 10th. So it's like 2 or 3 weeks after.
Oh yeah. So do you think it finishes at Mania, or they should run it back at least one more month?
No, yeah, I think they'll run it back for sure.
Yeah. Kenny?
I think that this match with Naomi and Jade, it will, because as I said, I think in the wrestling multiverse, this is going to be connected with Bianca, Rhea, and Io, but Bianca's connection into it. So, like I said, we said before, I feel like Bianca has 2 stories in her mind. She has with Rhea and Io, but also with Naomi and Jade. And I feel as though that match they will also meet in some way where Naomi, depending on how, if Naomi and Jade go night 1 or night 2, that might also spill over into Bianca's main event as well. And then afterwards, we might have either more riff, either Bianca might face Jade, or Naomi might face Bianca. So it's all gonna spill over in the wrestling multiverse.
So, Adrian, you're Triple H, you're Paul Levesque, you're Trips, you got the pen and the paper. What day are you putting the triple threat Io, Rhea, and Bianca, and what day are you putting Jade and Naomi?
It's a great question.
Thank
Because
you.
I also think this is gonna be one of the first years that, like, we just mentioned those two matches. There's no way Liv Morgan. There's no way there's not going to be a tag match. The women's tag titles not being on the card.
The
Will
greatest
Chelsea
tag team.
Green? Yeah, will Chelsea Green defend it like how they do the title match on SmackDown or Raw to kind of make it a bigger deal? So like, there's a situation where we're gonna probably have the most women's matches we've ever had on a WrestleMania card. With that being said,
Nice.
Look, man. I was at the Backlash with Bad Bunny. I saw Bianca versus Io, and like, that was such an amazing match. Bianca versus Rhea is the dream match, and all three of them can go. So like, when I say if they close out the night, like, I do think they could put on a classic. With that being said, we're talking about Roman Reigns, CM Punk, and Seth Rollins. So I think that night 1 for the triple threat, and then night 2 for the other match with Naomi and Jade.
What do you think, Terrence?
I feel like wait, can you repeat the question? My bad.
Which night are you putting the women's triple threat match, and which night are you putting Jade and Naomi?
We have talked about this. I think there's kind of 4 pillars, right, for WrestleMania. There's one that's an obvious, right? You have to close out with John and Cody on night 2. I think we have kind of come to an agreement that we kind of are leaning towards the men's triple threat match having to close out night 1. So with that, I guess, again, going back to Rick's logic, I kind of want to open up with the women's triple threat match for night 2. I know you brought up the fact that Rhea opened up, I want to say, last WrestleMania, right?
Yes.
He opened up night 1 with Becky.
Right. But I think that's an honor. I think that means that we expect you to blow the doors off the hinges and get this crowd up. And
she also opened up night 2 of 36 Pandemic Mania, by the way.
But again, that speaks to just how much they believe in not only Rhea, but the 3 of them, right? Like, because that's a tough spot, I think. Like, you have to get the crowd going. I know in some Manias past, and even, some other PLEs, it's always been like okay, like, people are still getting to their seats. But that was years ago. I think now everybody's like, now that there's kind of been a shift, right? People know, like, if it ain't, again, we know what the headline's going to be. We got that. What are they going to open up with now? And I think, like, that says a lot about, Triple H and Co. Just kind of looking at things and being like, okay, where can we shake things up? Where can we move things around in terms of how the industry goes and what's expected? One of my favorite things about the Triple H era is the fact that, like, we're going against some of the things that were traditional in the best ways, and I think that's one of them. So yeah, I would put them on to open night 2.
Okay, so Adrian, who wins, Io, Rhea, or Bianca?
Ooh, big question.
I want Bianca to win because I want that streak to continue. But the smartest, when you talk about, again, just extending stuff, would be for Io to win. But I want Bianca to win.
I got Io, man. There's something about Io. I think one, because she just won the belt. I don't see Rhea getting it back right away. She can be better in chase mode for now. Could Bianca win? Yes, absolutely. I think, like you said, more is in play of the story to build getting Bianca away from Naomi and Jade because they can go off and do their thing. Now you have Rhea and Bianca, which you mentioned. SummerSlam is the WrestleMania of the summertime. Am I gonna wait a whole year for Bianca and Rhea to go one-on-one? Like they can do it at SummerSlam as well. So that's what I'm saying. Like they can build off of that story, let Io rock out and get some other contenders. But the Bianca and Rhea, that could be your main event at SummerSlam. Like it don't always have to be at WrestleMania for that. I'm not waiting a whole fucking year for that. Give it to me at SummerSlam.
Well, that's why I would wait till WrestleMania. That's what I'm saying. He's supposed to tease you, bro. I mean, to be honest, we've been waiting 5-6 years to see them go one-on-one. Right?
I've been waiting 5 years for Roman and Rock. I still can't get that match on.
It wasn't gonna happen last year.
It's gonna happen, man. Next year, trust me, in New Orleans, it's gonna happen.
New Orleans, you going to New Orleans? The Big Easy?
I feel it. It's gonna be like a Rock retirement kind of shindig. I feel, bro. They cannot let Rock like go off to the sunset and be like, nah, man, I'm not fighting my cousin. Like, come on, bro. We're not.
Well,
not
I
doing
mean, the whole the rumors and reports is like, notice, and obviously we have again former Raws, former SmackDowns, but they didn't say anything about him on Monday.
I think he's gonna do it in time. It's gonna sneak in, like they're just waiting for it because we already know we want to hear what The Rock has for Cena. We already want to know why does Cena join The Rock as well. We said this on Monday, or Tuesday. It's just they're gonna sneak it in. We already heard Cena talk to the fans, but come on, we already weren't waiting for Cena to cook Cody on the mic and just like say it. Give him the straight ether. You bringing takeover, I'm bringing ether. You could bring super ugly. I got the Brave Hearts. Like what you got? Like come on.
Okay.
So I think it's just gonna wave in. You know, Cody's gonna bring in what he has. You know, enough. You know, Randy, he's tired of hearing enough. He's tired of hearing that.
Come on, bud. No.
But I think they're gonna build it up. So we're gonna get that, and it's gonna build. The next thing you know, here comes Rock. You know, Rock's gonna always come at Mama Rhodes, bring up Dusty, and there's some way to be like, Rock, you mother, it's gonna come, but it's not gonna just jump out right now. I think it's gonna build it up, give us a little step by step with it.
So it's just interesting though, because some of the advertising leading up to WrestleMania has not had The Rock, right?
True.
Right.
So I mean, but granted, we all thought, well, Bad Blood, there wasn't any meaning, and then Elimination Chamber, no, that did have a meaning. So we'll see. And last year, the best moment of The Rock was the one time he showed up that he wasn't advertised for, which was Chicago with the scene outside in the rain and Cody. So we'll see. I just think it's interesting though.
I think there's two things real quick, Randy. I
go ahead.
Don't forget. One, I totally agree with you, not to go too far back, but I think we're leading to Bianca and Rhea at SummerSlam. Like that's why I think Io's gonna win. You give her a really solid run. You let the two of them like build because we're getting 2 nights, right?
Yeah.
We've already added Bianca, like she's been the one kind of teaser, if you will, with her and Cardi B. That's been the big, teaser for the upcoming SummerSlam. So I think we get it at SummerSlam. But to talk about the match with The Rock and Cody and all that, I think because he's a true heel, right? And because The Rock is giving you everything you want, right? He's giving you Hollywood. He's giving you, the boss's protection, so to speak. I think we're gonna get the big reveal of who the third guy is at WrestleMania. I don't know who it is. I know we have like all kinds of speculation. Is it Orton? Is it somebody else we can't even think of?
Stone Cold.
But I think they'll be the reason that
Stone Cold.
Stone Cold? That would be
that would be insane. Rock, Austin, and Cena on the same heel.
Imagine. Damn.
God, Austin's old ass with Poncho the Cat. Oh,
that visual will be crazy. That would be
Poncho
updated.
So I'll ask you this, Adrian, two-part, because Terrence just brought it up. One, should there be a third man in this Rock Cena group if the Rock is still involved? Because we didn't hear from him. You know, I hear his name in the promos. 2, who should a third man be? And 3, because I kept seeing it on Twitter the last couple of days. Were you overwhelmed or underwhelmed with the John Cena promo on Raw?
All right. First and foremost, the one thing we are missing with The Rock, I need them 15-minute Instagram video promos, brother.
Yes.
Where you mention all these rich-ass Netflix executives that nobody knows. David Cazala or Three Bill. He wants me, Seth, not you. I'm like, word.
Yeah.
I don't know who that guy is. So should there be a third guy? I don't think there needs to.
Okay.
I think it would be fascinating to continue this arc of everyone betraying Cody with the next person to betray Cody being Randy, but not having to do with anything with the situation. So he overcomes this. Next up is Randy breaking his heart, but not necessarily because he joins The Rock. But if there is a third person, I know some people said if it was Stone Cold, that would be crazy. That visual would instantly replace the Rock, Austin, Hogan, Superdome, Silverdome. Like that would be the visual of the 3 legends in the ring at the same time. But I think if it would be a third person, it would have to be Randy, just in terms of like impact of you already broke the impact of seeing something that we never thought we'd see. In terms of a person turning heel, right? So Randy Orton turning heel isn't necessarily shocking, right? No. He's always the Viper, but because of the closeness and the relationship, and then we could get all these videos of, I don't know if you guys remember last year, every time they'd screen cap Randy looking at Cody's title, looking at his shoulder, and they're like, So that would be it, but I don't think we need it, man. Like, what I need is a freestyle from Cena. I don't need a third person. My opinion. And then to your second question about the promo on Monday. It did its job. It did its job. The crowd kind of, I wanted the crowd to be like, let me turn that down 20%. So that I could see Cena go work, because obviously smartly he would there was so many starts and stops just because of the crowd. You know, it was an interesting angle. It was fascinating. I always thought the dynamic of him turning heel was always weird, because all you were doing, in all honesty, was you were flipping the kids cheering, booing him, and the adults booing him, cheering him. So it wasn't, and that's kind of what you saw with the Cena sucks and let's go Cena again, which felt good to hear, man. Because it was a weird, these past 3 or 4 years, like everyone loving him. I was like, this is just strange, because this is not what it is. This is not how I was raised. But he got, I mean, there's a lot of truth to what he said. I wanted a little bit more sharpness, or not sharpness, not in terms of like he was. Sharpness in terms of like I wanted him to I wanted some pipe bombs. I wanted him to say some shit. But everything he said made sense. It was logical. It was the truth. We got a long way to go. I turned on my fault.
No, you good.
We'll get this back.
I was seeing that Jericho clock coming on. Oh, what's going on?
Yeah. That's what happens when I got my Nikon on here, and since it's not a video camera. My last thing, I thought some of the eye contact and some of the visuals that he said, like when Cody called him a whiny bitch, and like his evil face, his pissed off face, I was like, that's dope. That's raw. That's intense. He walked out like, nah, I'm gonna get you. That's what you want to call me? All right, bet, and we'll see what happens. So overall, he got the job done. Legendary Raw opening. The only critique too, it was a little bit too long. I was like, yo, this was 40 minutes. God dang.
Facts. Real quick before I move on. So, is your screen good, or what you want me to do? There you go. You're back. All right. So I know Terrence got like another 20, right? That 20, 25 the most. T.
I got 30. Yeah.
All right. Boom. So I know me and Kenny have covered the Raw Cena promos, so we're kind of caught up on that. I do want to touch up on the Slammies real quick. So I know Terrence said, hey, we got to talk about the Slammies. I'm like, okay, let me go see what the fuck is the Yeah, because the last time it did was when?
It's been a minute.
Yeah.
Technically, they did the Slammies. Technically, they did them last year, but it was all done at WWE World at like 9 a.m. Big E and one of them like did it at like it was
I
like a
remember.
panel. It was a
9
panel
a.m.
thing. So it wasn't. It was what kicked it off in the morning.
Oh man, yeah. They gave him the Breakfast Club schedule. All right, so there's quite a few topics and nominations. So I'm gonna try to save the best ones for last. So have you guys seen this already? Probably Adrian, but have Kenny and Terrence, have you seen these yet or no?
Got a chance to look at the nominees.
Okay, don't, because I want real, raw, organic reactions. This is my first time seeing it too. So, all right.
Let's hear it.
All right, here we go. Okay, breakout superstar of the year: Braun Breaker, Lyra Valkyria, Penta, Obafemi, Julia, Tiffany Stratton, Jacob Fatu, Chelsea Green, Stephanie Vaquer. Breakout superstar of the
That's
year.
loaded. That's loaded.
Yeah,
All right, so
good.
we'll go Terrence, Kenny, Adrian. Terrence, who do you have for breakout superstar of the year?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going my man Jacob Fatu. Like,
Oh, yeah.
he doesn't need a belt just yet to be as impactful as he's been. He helped carry the new bloodline. He couldn't be a heel because everybody loves him and they're still screaming Fatu every time he comes out. He's the most authentic on the mic of this new generation. And I mean, if we're keeping it a buck, he's a legitimately terrifying human being.
Yeah,
the man is 6'2", maybe 280, and does backflips onto people at a whim. That man is nuts, and I love every part of it. So I gotta go with
Jacob
Fatu.
I
Kenny.
also want to add
Oh, go
out
ahead,
of
go
the
ahead, go ahead.
breakout people, real quick, out of all the breakout people that you mentioned, Jacob's the only person in the 2K25 game like release day. Everyone else is DLC. Not if that matters or not. Anyway, Kenny, go.
Damn, that's crazy.
Well, as much as Fatu, that's a good one, but I might have to go with who.
It's a great choice.
Braun Breaker, man. Yo, let me tell you right now, Braun Breaker, that man was all Exxon gas, wooden brakes or something, because, man, that man was always going rope to rope, giving the spear. Like, come on. Him and Jay had a nice little feud. He had
the two-time Intercontinental Champion.
Had a couple good mid-card matches at pay-per-views.
Yeah.
This past year. So, and now he's converting to either he's like in the gray area, the mercenary, as I call it, like not completely a true face, not even a heel. He's just like the mercenary. So
yeah,
Braun Breaker, every time with that spear, man would go around, spear somebody crazy, just everyone's barking. He knows it. So mine would be Braun Breaker, man.
All right, Adrian, who you got?
Because this is breakout superstar, all these NXT people that are on here, I kind of like disqualify them because they're still in the WWE bubble, even though I understand this is WWE, not NXT breakout star. So with that being said, to me, it would have to be Stephanie or Jacob, because they are the most underground people that most people didn't know who the hell they were. Stephanie, I think even more so, because if you didn't watch the Forbidden Door with Mercedes Moné, the AEW pay-per-view, then you'd have to like seek that out. You're not running into that on accident because she wasn't some viral person with clips. Like if you knew, you knew. Jacob Jacob was kind of the same way. It's just a lot of his promos, because of who he is, like some of those things went viral because they were so crazy. So if I have to pick between both of them, I'm gonna still go Jacob, because his theme song's hard as hell, bro. His entrance is fire. So
Facts. All right, next up, social star of the year: Chelsea Green or Drew McIntyre? I think I'm going Drew McIntyre.
I will go with Drew too.
Yeah, because he be talking that shit online.
He
so
be trolling. You think the man left? You thought he was gonna leave, but then he comes back. It gives CM Punk a Claymore, jams his break down his damn throat.
Yeah, I mean, this is DM Hunk, so this, Drew McIntyre is crazy, bro.
I would give it to
That
Drew.
dude is crazy. I think we all agree with that. All right, next up. Oh my god, it's a lot of shit going on. All right, NXT Superstar of the Year: Obafemi, Roxanne Perez, Trick Williams, Ethan Page, Julia Kalani Jordan. Terrence, NXT Superstar of the Year.
I gotta go Obafemi, man. I that's a really tough list, like most of these are gonna be, but I feel like Oba has taken like a new step, and even though it is Trick Willie's, league, particularly for the men's, I feel like Oba's really stepped up because for a while I was just like, oh, like the Ethan Page thing was cool, you know what I mean, like his feud with Trick Williams, but they weren't really on the same level in terms of intensity. Obafemi, he looks like he's the future of wrestling. I mean, and you even saw like him get that cosign from Taker like a week or two ago.
Yeah,
that says a lot. That means the legends are watching you and they respect you already, and they can't wait to see you on the main roster.
Kenny, NXT Superstar of the Year.
I know Obi's like the Killmonger of NXT, but I'm gonna still go with Memphis' own. Well, the Memphis saying, "Whoop that trick," hustle and flow. I'm gonna go with Trick Williams, man. Even still, I've seen it with when he had the belt and when he's not have the belt. What he's been doing backstage. Him and Javon. He's been interacting. Doing cutting some good promos. Matches, even though when he comes out with or without the belt, he still has that crowd, saying whoop that trick. He performs, and I think he's pretty much even still with or without the belt. I would have to give it to Trick. Respect to Obi, but Trick Williams, man.
Adrian, who you got?
Randy, I love you seeing the nominees for the Slammys, and like every nominee thing has like 15 different people. I'm like, yo, can we
get like the fucking Oscars? Like, damn, man.
What is
can we get 5 nominees? I got 12.
I'm going Obafemi though. He's him. Simple and plain.
I might be inclined to go Roxanne though. I think she's had a great year. She's champion. She fought on the main roster, Raw. She was in the fucking chamber match. Like I'm thinking she's because if I'm wrong, tell me.
Unique. I see you. It's cool.
I'll be different. I mean, listen. If I'm wrong, tell me. I didn't see Obafemi on wrestle on the main roster yet. I didn't see Trick on the main roster yet. I see nobody on chamber. I see Roxanne with the Baileys. I'm like, oh, okay, she already up and she's already there. You know what I'm saying? She was the final. She was the second to last in the Rumble.
Yep, over 30 minutes. I think she set the record.
Yeah.
Maybe. Wow. See, I'm going Roxanne with that one. I'll go Roxanne with that one. All right, next. Here we go. Oh God, Rivalry of the Year: Punk and Drew, Roman, Cody, Liv and Rhea, Priest and Balor, KO and Cody, Nia Jax and Tiffany, Bloodline versus Bloodline.
Drew and God.
All right, Kenny, you're picking Drew and Punk. I'm assuming
Drew and Punk. That it was good build up, good story. It ended the way it did. I'll have to go with Drew and CM Punk.
All right, Terrence, who you got?
As much as I love the culmination of Drew and Punk, it was a little short. So if we're gonna give it like a full year's worth of rivalry, give me that good old cat fight. And I want Liv and Rhea, the drama of it. I feel like not only was the payoff really good, the lead up, I don't know how you'll feel about this, Randy, because I know she's your girl.
That's right.
I think the lead up elevated Liv to a space where, as much as we're talking about the triple threat, Liv's my women's MVP for the year. You know what I mean? She carried the storylines. She made me invested. And I love her and Raquel as this new age Shawn and Diesel. I gotta go with Liv and Rhea.
Adrian, feud of the year: Drew and Punk.
100%.
Yeah, I might pick Punk and Drew. Here we go. Another nine nominees for the tag team of the year: DIY, Awesome Truth, A-Town, Down Under, Jade and Bianca, Motor City Machine Guns, Bloodline, War Raiders, Judgment Day, Street Profits, Liv Morgan, and Raquel Rodriguez. Tag team of the year.
They got a lot of audacity with this. Like, who cares? I'm sorry. Who cares? And then not only is it who cares, but this one we're gonna have the most nominees.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
it's like
Ugh.
play the Oscar music right now.
I gotta disagree. In this regard, what I will say is the men's tag team needs a shot in the arm severely.
Mhm.
But the women's tag team has been honestly really exciting, even from NXT. But with that being said, I know that I said Liv and Raquel were a favorite, but I'm actually going to go with Jade and Bianca.
Okay.
They were able to defend their titles, lose their titles,
Mm.
win them back, and look at what it gave us. It allowed for the WWE fans to really get to know Jade in a way. But then we also got a storyline.
That's right.
Who would have thought? You know what I mean? That's giving us multiple storylines, right? For now, WrestleMania season. So I got to give the credit where it's due. Also, got to give the flowers to Naomi and Bianca for real cinema, real acting, real tears.
That's right.
In that promo, incredible work, man. I got to give it to the ladies.
Adrian, tag team of the year.
Yeah, I'd go with Jade and Bianca.
Yeah, I think so too. Definitely awesome. True. We bugging out. Faction of the year: OG Bloodline, Judgment Day, New Bloodline, American Made, Damage Control. Adrian, you go first.
Would have to be New Bloodline. They were on
New
camera the
Bloodline.
most. Well, because the OG Bloodline was only, if we're doing this year to year, calendar to calendar, that's why, because they were just on camera more.
Okay.
And then the Judgment Day broke up, although that was till August. I still gonna do Bloodline. Brought me Jacob Fatu, man. What you mean?
That's right. Kenny, faction of the year.
I would give it to Bloodline 2.0, Solo Sikoa, leader of that.
That's right.
Tamatanga,
Tribal Chief.
Tamatanga, yeah. Fatu, gas, no brakes. That was a little story, little feud. It was building up, old school versus new school bloodline. So shout out to Solo Sikoa, Bloodline 2.0.
Terrence, who you got?
I'm going with the OGs. You know what I'm saying?
The OG Bloodline.
Putting my ones up, and I'm showing respect to the Usos, to Sammy, and to my tribal chief. You know what I mean? I think that them bringing that story back together gave us what we wanted at War Games, right? And it was able to kind of tie it all together and allow those, like the 2.0 guys to branch off. And, it also gave them a lot of legitimacy. I'll say that. All
right. I'm trying to speed this up. This is fucking like 12 nominees each category. Jesus Christ. OMG moment of the year. All right, Cody against Roman, the finish to WrestleMania. Dominic turning on Rhea Ripley with Liv Morgan at SummerSlam. Kevin Owens turning on Randy Orton and Cody in October. New Day turning on Big E. Tiffany's cash in Money in the Bank. Damian Priest cash in at WrestleMania. The Wyatt 6 debut on Raw. Braun Breaker spearing I Show Speed at the Royal Rumble. At the Royal Rumble, Jesus Christ. Bronson Reed hitting a tsunami on Braun Strowman onto a car. Cena turning on Cody Rhodes. Roman coming back at SummerSlam. Io Sky beating Rhea Ripley to become champion. All right. There's like 3 that can fucking win this shit.
Also 3 that are from this year, but now I get too technical.
And one was like 2 weeks ago. It's like, oh shit.
What is going on?
I'll go. I will pick Damian Priest winning against Drew McIntyre WrestleMania. That was like phenomenal because we was like, all right, Drew has it, but then like 10 minutes into mocking, Punk cost him. Then here comes Damian's music, and I'm just like, what? Priest? Takes him in, pins him.
Yeah.
I went crazy. I went ecstatic. I was like, yeah, so I'm gonna go with Damian Priest. As much as Cody and Roman's ending was like edge of the seat, but Priest, that opened up night 1. I'm gonna go with Damian Priest.
Adrian, we got OMG moment of the year.
Ending of 40. So emotional. I damn near cried because they replay the scene in 2K. You could replay it with the bloodline thing. I was like, oh snap, it's fire in the game too.
Terrence, OMG moment of the year.
I'm a little torn on this one because part of me wants to go Braun Breaker breaking ISO speed in half because whoever is like, oh, wrestling's fake, got to see their favorite streamer right
get murdered. Yes,
nothing fake about what that. Did you see his leg? He almost took his leg out of his skin. But that said, I know it's recent, but there's probably not a bigger moment than
John.
Yeah, it's gotta be, man.
Oh,
like,
it was included. I forgot.
That's like monumental, right? Like that's like
the cheat code, man.
Right? Yeah, it's the cheat code. So I as much as I want to give it to Braun, I gotta go John.
Me, real quick. Yeah, Cena, but I might go with Dom. Dom kissing Liv at SummerSlam, turning on Rhea because in from what I've seen in different interviews and podcasts, he said that was supposed to happen. That just like right in the moment. So
that happened. I know his wife ain't gonna.
You know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't predetermined plan. Yo, Dom, you're gonna do this. Like he did it on his own to get the moment. Of, oh shit, you turn on Rhea, but did he do that to live it? Oh, for me, I go with Dom and for that. Last two fellas, female superstar of the year: Liv, Rhea, Bailey, Nia, Tiffany, Chelsea, Io. I'm going with Liv Morgan. Who you got?
I'll go, and I'm gonna agree. I mean, I think I said it earlier. It's an embarrassment of riches with the women's roster, but right now, I think Liv, for this past year, she carried end to end.
Kenny, who you got?
Liv has been on fire since then, since winning it from Becky, taking out Rhea, and she's been giving out great matches, with Rhea, good feud, but she's been fighting, winning clean, help the Judgment Day. Like, Liv Morgan, MVP for this turnaround this year.
Adrian.
Liv Morgan, clean
All right.
sweep.
Clean sweep. Last one, male superstar of the year. Cody, Roman, Gunther, Punk, Priest, McIntyre, Jey Uso, Seth freaking Rollins. Adrian, you go first.
Cody.
What? Cody?
I
don't know about that one.
Sorry.
All right. Kenny, you agree with Cody?
Yeet.
You got Jey Uso. Terrence, who you got?
I'm going to have to go with my man Kenny and give it to my man Jey Uso.
Jey Uso. Wow.
Jey Uso.
Okay.
Yo, we the belt to be successful.
Riding with the Yeet wave. You feel me?
Yeah, buddy.
Who
you got, Randy?
Damn, bro. I get Cody. He's been champ the whole year. I get that. Also, a phenomenal year. Rumble winner. A new Yeet movement. Main event Jey Uso. Being in his own for a single star. Oh man, and I guess if you talk about the whole entire year, I think Punk came back in the summertime, so he did not get the full year. A couple of months before that. So if I had to choose, oh God, probably Uso. I think Jey Uso. I'll give Jey Uso that part. Before I let everybody go, first of all, thank you guys. Appreciate y'all. Love y'all. I think so Adrian, real quick. So just if I may, I want to send off by asking you to talk about what you do, your podcast, how long you've been doing it for, or your show. What made you want to get into this lane to have people like myself, Terrence and Kenny, follow in your footsteps to possibly one day be at these shows to interview certain people. Like what got you here today?
Like I said earlier, I've always wanted to be on the radio. Loved radio, loved sports radio. Growing up in Cleveland, listening to whatever team going to sleep on the radio and being like, yo, I want to be arguing on the radio. This seems like fun. I like calling and arguing about who should be fired and hired, blah, 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 blah. So because of that, that's all I ever wanted to do. When I got to school in Tampa, I was finally able to get into, communications and journalism. into that and able to have like my little college radio show. Was able to do that, and even though it wasn't sports, it was hip hop. That got me my internship to be at a radio station and being on the radio. And one of the things I learned is just I love having conversations with things that I'm passionate about. I love asking people about just the things I enjoy and the things I find interesting. So having conversations is always something that I'm down for. I love doing interviews. And I've just been very fortunate that I landed in Las Vegas, which is not as big as New York. It's not as big as LA, but there's no other city in this country other than New York and LA that you never know who's here. From a porn star to Beyonce or Jay-Z to billionaires to whoever, you don't know who's going to pop into Vegas. And as all these pro sports and everything came to Vegas and working on the radio and, everyone trying to sell tickets. So, hey, can we do this interview? Can we do this, that, and the third? When we get to, sorry, I said that so quick. But when it comes to wrestling specifically, whenever SmackDown or Raw would come to town, wherever I was doing radio, they'd always say like, hey, did you want to do a quick interview or whatever? And I'd always say yes. But a couple years ago before WrestleMania 39, there was I got the chance to interview The Undertaker. And that was a dream scenario. And when I got to do the interview, I thought it was my best interview because I only had 15 minutes and I really had to talk about his show that he was promoting, his Dead Man show. So I was like, okay, so I know I have to ask certain questions about that. But what I was able to fit into just that little 15-minute, I went around and saw the other interviews that he did. And I was like, yo, I can do this. Like I can do this. And it's just something that I enjoyed to do. I enjoyed talking about wrestling. Like, this is ridiculous. It's crazy. The things I've been fortunate enough to do. So just trying to be available and going to places and always just being around for the slight chance to have a conversation, whether it's asking one question or having 20 minutes with someone, and just trying to take advantage of every opportunity, and kind of being like, yo, I did that Undertaker interview. I thought I did the best one. I wanted to see if I could prove that, because everybody has confidence to a certain degree, but you have to prove that. And so just tried to follow that and said, hey, I'm going to try to make this work. And every time I put myself, I always, this is self-funded. This isn't like covering the NBA where a news station is going to hire you to follow the Knicks home and away games. I'm independent creator. But every time I said, hey, I can't do this if I don't make money, this, that, and the third, raising a family. I got my son who hasn't interrupted us, which is amazing. But just every time that I did that, I've been able to grow and grow and grow and grow. And extremely thankful for that. But yeah, I don't even know if I answered your question properly, but yeah,
it sounds good. It sounds
short
good.
Answer.
If Terrence and Kenny don't mind me nerding out for like the next 2 or 3 minutes about this, because I think we all need to hear stuff like this. What gives you more anxiety? Interviewing somebody for 20 minutes or having like, yo, I gotta think of 2 or 3 questions and keep it going?
That's a great question, because it there's not a solid answer. It all depends. So for instance, the 2 to 3 questions at the press conference, you only get to ask one question. And so it's always like, yo, in my head I'm like, yo, I need to execute. And just social media is weird. Like, do I need to ask something so that it goes viral? No, I don't ever want to do that. That's not true. My intention is to ask whether it's correct or not. Take this advice for whatever it's worth. My philosophy is I like to ask questions about what I think is interesting. That maybe it's worked out so far, but I don't try to ask because I know that this is going to get retweeted or this might go viral because I'm asking about a person or some shit like that. But it depends on the person. I will say more often than not, though, the one question or the 1 to 2 questions, like at these junkets where you only have 2 to 3 minutes, it's more difficult just because if I have time and I have space, that means I could like try to build a rapport when you don't have that, when it's just 1 or 2 questions.
Did you call Taker or Mark?
I call him Taker.
It's funny because a couple of friends of mine, we were doing something with Triple H, and they were saying, "Yo, but so what should I call him? I said, you call him Triple H, man. And I would call him Triple H. They said, what's his real name? I said, y'all don't know his real name? They said, nah. I said, it's Paul Levesque. I said, I can't call him Paul Levesque. I said, well, just call him Triple H, call him Hunter, call him Trips, call him whatever you want. Real name would sound kind of weird, but it's like
Helmsley.
Helmsley, the game. Hey, the game. What's up, man? You know, cerebral assassin. It just because as we wrap up, like we are in this space where it's like like Terrence said, this is like a first take of just talk about wrestling, and we don't really stay on one topic. We have good conversation. It's fun. It's entertaining. We don't shit on the product. We don't shit on the performance. That's not what we do, because we are fans at the end of the day. But it's like we give our take about what we see, what we like, what we don't like, but we do it in a way where it's like, all right, it's a cool vibe, a cool thing where if someone wants to come on with us, they know they're gonna be comfortable and feel like, damn, I can't say this, I can't say that. So it's like seeing you out there, and please like Kenny and Terrence know, like, who are the performers you've been able to interview, and do you have a favorite interview that you've done so far?
The list is,
oh boy, the Jericho list.
The list is crazy. Hold on a second. I'll be right back.
Oh shit,
Hold on a second. This might be way too braggadocious, but I'm gonna do it. Hold on.
Hey man, fuck it. My man getting the Jericho list out here. Armbar. The man of 1,005.
You just made the list.
1,005 holes and shit. But as he finds that, we're gonna probably do something after Raw.
Dropping mics.
All right,
here we go. Hold on a second. I'm only doing this because I saw Will Smith do an interview where he put himself on the Mount Rushmore of greatest actors ever, and people were like, "You can't say that about yourself." I'm like, "Yes, you can." These are all the people that I interviewed last year.
Oh my god!
Wow!
Wait a second. Or ask the question at a junket. Hold on.
Oh my god, that's AJ, Jade, Bailey.
Can't even see the whole freaking thing.
Punk,
Becky Lynch,
Stone Cold, Becky, DDP,
Ricochet, Omos, Cody, Bronson, Shayna, Samantha, Eddie Kingston, Tony Khan, a whole bunch of people. Last year was crazy, which is why I got this made. Because I'm recently
like Rey Mysterio, I saw Nia, Bailey, the whole BBL thing. I saw that. So Stone Cold, obviously,
Swerve Strickland and Ricochet last week.
Nice.
My favorite, if I have to do top 3, would be Stone Cold, because that's not supposed to interview him twice is crazy. To get him once is insane.
Mm-hmm.
Edge, because it was Edge, and that was one of my favorites growing up. But also, he was just very like he wanted to talk, and that was really cool. And then Eddie Kingston, because that's the first time that like that got a lot of traction, and he was very cool. He didn't have to do it. I'm not a name, but like back then I certainly didn't have a name. I had like 300 YouTube, like I wasn't nowhere near where I'm at now. And for him to be like, yeah, man, we'll talk for 20 minutes. And the casual check-in since then, because I don't try to be friends. I'm well aware of what this dynamic is. Some people try to act like, oh, we besties and stuff like that. Like, there's a line, but for him to check in and be aware and like, that's like cool. Because when people remember wrestling, like they're like comedians, they'll do the most interviews out of any sort of entertainment aspect, right? So that's what's cool. But Edge, Stone Cold, and Eddie Kingston would probably be in my top 3.
And my last one, is there someone who you haven't interviewed that you're looking to try to get that off your bucket list, maybe during 41 weekend? Who was somebody, male or female, that either I gotta get them?
It's not a surprise. I have John Cena on there, but I only asked him a question on the junket. I cheated, but I wanted to make it look fire, all right? Because that's a question, okay, Kenny? That's technically a question. But I guess it's in Mount Rushmore because it would be Punk, it would be Paul Heyman, it would be John Cena, and it would be The Rock. Those 4.
Okay. Oh, so you never interviewed Punk before, or I asked him a question?
I've asked him a couple times at pressers, but one-on-one, no. I almost did a Complex Con here in Vegas, but he had to dip out. And even then, if I would have talked to him at Complex Con, it would have been a quick thing. But just to have a sit down, like that's the reason why. The reason why I was such a fan. I stopped watching wrestling in middle school. The reason why I came back in high school, which most people don't say that. You know, once you're gone, right?
Yeah.
But the reason why I was hooked in was because of Punk. So just speak like none of this is possible without being such a fan. And that starts with Punk. So that him, Paul Heyman, Cena, because I just think it's fascinating. His career is fascinating, especially just adding on to what he's doing as a heel. And same with The Rock.
Yeah. Listen, man. You've been great. Coming on the show. No invite needed. Everyone to come back on. You got time? Hit me up. Again, I should be at WrestleMania week. So if you want to link up, let me, because you like down the block from everything. So, which is great. Like, it's good to have WrestleMania in your hometown where I got to travel, no hotel, no Airbnb. I can walk to the spot, go home, enjoy.
Terrence, it's my own pillows. It's my own bed. You know what I'm saying? You know, the cheapest hotel is like $700 a night, which, by the way, everyone who's coming to WrestleMania, whether you're media or here as a fan, like,
how much?
I'm asking for your Cash App. I'm gonna send a request because I know you got it. Although, shout out to Klarna, shout out to PayPal for you, Zip, Affirm, all of them. We working hard trying to get these tickets, bro. This shit is expensive.
I was at 39 and I checked in to see, like, oh, okay, like I want to go to Vegas. Couldn't. I was like, yo, this is insane. The prices went from, it almost basically tripled.
Yeah.
Like, everything I was paid to go to LA, mind you, LA is LA. It's not a cheap city. Everything I paid to go to LA basically tripled. I was like, I would be watching from my crib. So
there are, my last point again. I apologize. There are some people I'm hitting up to try to get access to certain events. I should be at Wallamania. I should be at the Fanatics thing World, like I did last year. Trying to see what my boy Rosenberg is doing for Cheap Heat. They might be doing like a live show. I assume.
They're doing it at Station Casino. Yes, sir.
Okay, so I got to find out more info about that. Obviously, there's a whole bunch of things going on that week. Again, if you want to link up, if there's some things you got going on,
we'll meet for sure. I'm trying to get my life together because it's less than 30 days now, which is crazy. But nah, it's gonna be crazy, and I'm hearing it's the most media. It's gonna be the biggest. It's gonna be the biggest WrestleMania from that perspective, which is kind of making me like.
That means it's a lot. It's a lot going on too.
Yeah. So, but we're gonna try to make it work, and what's meant to be will be. But for sure, we'll link up for sure. Kenny and Terrence, it's a pleasure getting to meet you guys too. Thank you guys for having me on.
Yeah. What's the weather in Vegas right now, bro?
Warm.
What is it now? It's actually this week. We should be chill. It's like 70s. We might hit 90.
That's chill.
We chilling. I'm about to take this off and go outside. So it's by then though.
Bro,
it may
this is chill. This is chill.
No.
Don't laugh.
No. When I said chill, when I mean chill, I mean like perfect. Like these next 2 to 3 weeks, which sucks because Mania is in 4 weeks. But these next 2 to 3 weeks is like I consider like it's heaven. It's perfect.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
It's perfect. Because the sun's out at the normal time, and the sun don't go down till 8, and it's 70. We chilling. You don't need to die in the desert. Like the desert's perfect right now. Bro, Mania weekend might be in the hundreds, which might be crazy. We'll see.
It is crazy.
Fucking April Mania. I'm wearing shorts.
You better be wearing skin because it is hot,
bro. And when it come back to New York to what 55? No, I ain't trying to get sick.
You better stuff that hoodie in your book bag and go to Mania in a white beat.
Real talk. Hey, stay hydrated.
Yes,
it's not going to be that crazy hot because the thing is that
I mean I've been there before, so I know
You've been to Vegas?
Yeah,
Okay.
10 years ago, a long time, but I've been there.
Where was
before.
you at? Where was you at? What was you doing?
It was my brother's birthday weekend. Did a
Oh,
couple.
debauchery. Where'd you stay at?
I don't even. It was a nice
Hold
spot
on,
with
Circus?
fireplace. I saw
Oh,
the
damn.
mountains. I don't know where it was at, but it was very, very.
Let me say
like,
some names. Let me see, because it don't sound like Circus,
That's Circus,
which is
Circus.
good.
No.
You hold on. Let me throw some names. Venetian. How about the Win? Did you go to a strip club? Did you go to a buffet? What do you remember? What'd you guys do?
I went. Oh,
Casino, strip club.
Do you remember which one?
No, I don't.
Nice. You're playing it off for the camera.
No,
That's good.
I
This is a
really
podcast.
don't remember. Damn, I wish I
I'm
remember.
playing.
The Venetian sounds a little familiar or something like that. Anyway,
that's where they have that day party for Tal's beach party.
Terrence, at Lower East Scribe on Twitter, Kenny at Cowabunga_K_E_N, Adrian Hernandez, you, my friend, are at Adrian Radio 93. Thank you guys. I definitely appreciate it. I know we'll tap in soon. Kenny and Terrence will probably come back sometime Monday for Raw, the nighttime showing of Raw. Adrian, man, we love you, bro. We appreciate you. Continue doing what you've been doing, and I know we'll probably tap in soon for WrestleMania week.
Absolutely. Y'all be easy. Appreciate y'all.
All right, fellas.
Thank you, man.
All right.
Peace.